Okay, we are back at episode 2 of that summer. Now, we're here 2 weeks before everything happened, before meeting lava, before losing memories, before everything. My question is though, if it's 2 weeks and my maths are not mathing, that means they landed on this place 2 weeks earlier, or they met lava and Darwin met a week, but they spent 2 weeks, or is it 2 weeks since they met? I'm confused, but it's 2 weeks before, which means Victor was with Darwin the entire time. But my question is, what happened to Darwin? First off, if you hear any whooshing sound or breeze, I do apologize. Where I am at is very hot. So anyways, let's talk about Darwin. Now remember that Darwin escaped with Victor, right? So he was having a date, because I thought it was a date. We'll get to why I thought that was. Anyways, he asked the local if they're gonna be a celebration of fireworks and stuff like that, and he went there. But the locals said that the best way to see the firework is on a boat in the middle of the ocean or in the seaside or whatever. And he went there with Victor. But if you remember in the first episode when Darwin was in the water, you remember being in the boat with Victor. So Victor was with him the time, but we didn't see him after. So Victor must have done something, because Victor was the last person to see Darwin, right? Well, Victor is having a heart-to-heart moment with... No, Darwin was having a heart-to-heart moment with Victor, saying that who he is not accepted in the palace, and he wants to be among people who accept him, which basically is sexual orientation. So, it is mostly giving you red, white, and royal blue, because Darwin out here is living royalty, but he doesn't want that life, because in your royalty you want to have an image, right? And in that image, being gay is not one of them. And I think that's why he wants to run away, because he heard that you can be free in Thailand and be whoever you want to be, and Victor helped him instead. Okay, this is 2 weeks later, where Darwin, who is now Wave, has no memory of his current life or before, has no memories of anything, where he lived, who he knows. He only knows lava, and that's it. But he pretty much acts like royalty, so his body has a muscle memory. It's just that his brain don't remember anything. Okay, let's talk about details. Now, I'm glad that they included in this, because this generation don't understand. Because back then, before they had the touch button to wind up a window, we had to crank that thing up. We have to wind it up ourselves. So to see they put that in and put it as Wave don't even know how to wind up a window. It's something, because he really doesn't. He grew up on something that has to do with button, but at the end of the day, he don't even know how to do nothing. I mean, he doesn't know how to do nothing. At least you can forget about something. So his body says he don't remember anything because he's never done that before. He's royal. They never let him do anything. Okay, Sting's Wave has no clothes, because he came with only the clothes on his back, and the backpack that he went with, he's not having it right now. I don't even know what he brought in that bag. Probably a little money, but that's it. But that bag that he brought from home, he didn't bring anything. So anyways, Lava decided to go to a second-hand store to buy Wave clothes out of his own money, which he doesn't really own much, but he's doing that. Instead, Wave decided to look down on the clothes and say they smell bad, making the owner a little bit upset. So Wave decided to take the expensive version, which is the first hand, and Lava was not having it, but Lava said that he can get those clothes if he does all his work for him for payment. But then this guy showed up, and I'm a bit confused, because he looked like he knows Wave, but then he looked at who Wave came with and walked away, and I was like, I'm confused. Where do I know this person from? And then when I start over by recapping, ain't this the same guy that worked at the restaurant that indicated Wave and Victor that they can use a boat to watch the fireworks? So my question is, you know something, why don't you just say, hey, I see you 2 weeks ago? Instead you walked off. Either that, or you're working with them enemies who tried to kill this boy. Okay, another detail time. Now, writers, directors, and the workers of GMMTV, now listen up. Mint, I love you, but they wrong for this. They did you wrong. You're supposed to be a nurse. Nurses don't wear heels, baby. Come through with next week episode. You're not supposed to be wearing heels. Okay, help me out, people. Now, I get that Peng is obsessed with his man, Wood, here, and Wood is doing his job. Isn't Peng supposed to be a chief? Ain't he supposed to be in office doing paperworks? And also, dude, if you're a person who wants to be in a relationship but wants to be in a relationship secretly, you're not doing a good job because even if you're trying to hide it, you're in public space. Don't you think it's beyond just trying to keep private? Now you're probably wondering why Wave is holding her underwear like this. For those who have not watched this drama, let me explain to you. Well, remember when Lava bought the clothes for Wave? Well, Wave payment is to actually do all the chores that Lava is supposed to do, basically as payment, including washing the clothes. But the thing is, when Lava told him how to wash the clothes, he literally did the opposite. Also stained white, this very thing that Lava did when he first got there. Lava forgot many crucial things. Lava doesn't remember that Wave can't do shit. He can't do anything. Yet Lava trusted him to do all the chores, and Wave keep tearing them or breaking them. In this case of the underwear, Wave used the brush to brush the underwear forcefully and caused the hole in the back part of the underwear. Now technically, Wave did warn Lava to wash these things on his own because it's personal things, but Lava was too lazy and let Wave does everything. He even stained the white to blue and pink and blue, and he broke some other antique stuff that his uncle owns. You know, I believe Lava has care 50-50. 50% he doesn't care and 50% he does care. Because instead of helping Wave clean up, he decided Wave to do everything on his own while he just chillax and smoke weed. Like, dude, I get that weed is like a herb, but I'm not a weedician or whatever you call the people that are expert at weed. But I don't think you're supposed to smoke it. Anyways, Wave decided to threaten Lava to help him work, or he will tell Peng that Lava is smoking weed. At this point, Lava doesn't really care. If it's his way of getting out and going back to Bangkok, then he doesn't care if he get in trouble as long as he go back home. But here's a strange thing though. While cleaning, Wave saw a magazine of his hometown, and that did not bring his memory back. I thought it would bring like jolt something, but it didn't. So I'm guessing we have to start off very strong to get back something in his memory. Maybe something of how he lost his memory. Accident, someone attacked him. What really happened, we don't know. Okay, detail time. Now, while cleaning, Wave stumbled on the Walkman. I'm not sure what everybody call it, but I call it Walkman. Now, Walkman is basically a music player, but in this case you use CDs that has music, where you download music on the CD and put it in the Walkman and you turn it on. Now you have to use batteries. You have to use, like, I think Duracell or AA or AAA batteries, those little these little roundish cylinder thing, if you know what a battery is. And I'm not thinking that. Anyways, yeah, so use that and use the headphone, the one with the strings, and then you just go with it. But the thing is about this one, I know the one that you have to clip onto your waist and you just walk freely, but this one doesn't have that. Anyways, yeah, that's a Walkman. Okay, so later they had an argument. Lava and Wave argument led them into the pool, and then Pain came. Honestly, we are glad that Wave didn't tell Peng about the weed smoking, but Lava did express his frustration of staying in this place and wanted to go to Bangkok. The uncle then looked at Lava and said that he knew he would be ready to go to Bangkok because he and his mother talked about the whole thing, and he believed that Lava wouldn't last that long. Meanwhile, the mother said he wanted her son to stay with Peng to grow more maturely. But Peng made a bet with Tom, saying that he wouldn't last long, which, judging by how he's going, he didn't last long. He was ready to go to Bangkok. Oh, let me tell you something about Mond. If you look at you this serious in the face, he doesn't have to punch you. He doesn't have to fight you. You know you lost the battle before it even started. Anyways, you're probably wondering why his face is like this. Well, Lava made a comment about Peng leaving his family in Bangkok because he wanted to have a life of his own. Basically, he left his family for nothing, something like that. And when Peng went up to the man's face with Lava's face, because he's not a man to him, serious, he's like, don't talk like you know anything. You don't reach the level I'm at to be saying anything. Then Peng said something about Lava's father, that Lava is nothing like his father because his father was kind. I'm not sure if Lava's father is dead or alive or is still in debt or whatever, but the way Lava tell it to Wave, he said that his father is dead. So we're gonna assume that his father is dead until proven something else. Well, Lava decided to stay because he thought that his uncle was motivating him by giving him tough love, which basically that's what Peng was doing. Anyways, he decided to stay, but also remembering his father. I do love that DMMTV gave Winnie the glasses. It looks cute. Anyway, they went back to the beach because Wave asked Lava to recreate how they met. So maybe, he can remember the things that happened or actually remember his whole life. And Tom went with them. Honestly, Tom is only there to get some social media content. But anyways, Tom said that he posted Wave's picture on social media, but not much people put comments that they know Wave. Maybe it's because Tom doesn't really have much of a follower on the social media. Anyways, that's pretty much. Anyways, it's beach cleanup day, and because tourists went there at the beach partying and drinking, they left a lot of garbage. And so the village chief, which is Peng, and all the rest of the villagers are helping cleaning, even though technically they didn't want to, but they're doing it. Then Peng sees his man at a distance, and as a clingy boyfriend, he went over. Wood then asked Peng what happens when Peng is drunk. What will he do? Peng said that he's very clingy when he's drunk. I won't mind. I want to see it. Anyways, Peng dragged by Wood's father, who's a principal. I did say before in episode 1 that Wood's father is a political person. I was wrong. His father is a principal. Anyways, at a distance, I know, Lava saw Peng and Wood's romantic couple thing going on. The man gay radar was radaring. He is never wrong. He knows. He can tell from a distance. Anyways, Kratai came and Toom inviting her to a bar. Kratai rejected it because she knows that Toom is going to smoke weed and she involved the Lava. Then she warns them not to break Wave into that predicament, that stage. Leave the boy as an innocent boy as he is. Anyways, I think that Toom likes Kratai. What do you think? Is it me, or does Winnie look like he's been in the sun way too long? He gotten sunburned. He's a little bit darker than he always used to be. I mean, he's not that darker, but have you seen Mint? She's lighter than Winnie. Man, I get it. She doesn't get much screen time, but good lord. I get the show is called That Summer, but why has to burn this boy out? Anyways, Kratai told Wave what Tom and Lava is going to do, which is going to a bar and party. But Wave went to them and said he wants to go, or he will threaten them and tell Peng that they're going to a party and smoking weed. So they agreed to let Wave come, then tricked him and left him and went to the party and leave him all alone with no ride to go home. Yes, Tom and Lava left this boy to walk his way home. Ever since he lost his memory, he learned one thing: survival is key. Even though nobody's tried to kill him yet, but survival is key. But luckily for Wave, he knew exactly where Lava and Tom is, so he hitchhiked a drive from someone and he went to the exact place that they are. You could have just went home though. Okay, so while there, Tom and Lava and another person persuade Wave to smoke the weed. It's his first time, so he coughs. But in your case, boy, you're lucky no one knew you, because if they did, they would take a picture and post it on social media and said, the person that is close with who is here to the throne of at Anatha, whatever that place is, has been caught smoking. Dude, that would blow up real fast. People will know you this time. Then we have Woods and Pang little NCC. And honestly, I didn't pay much of what they were saying lies. I did heard one or two sentences. All I know that I've read and heard was that Pang is not really the chief of the island. It's just that Tom called him the chief and everyone rolled with it. Other from that, I zoned out after that information and then looked straight into their NCC because detail was key. I didn't care about nothing else. One thing I do get though is that Wood wants to go open and let everyone know about his relationship with Pang. He wants everyone to know that Pang is not single, he's in a relationship. They're both in love. But Pang, on the other hand, cares about reputation very strongly, and the fact that Wood's father is a principal, he has a reputation to hold as well. But here's what I want to know is, how the heck did you meet each other? Didn't you take a risk? So why not just take a risk and let people know about it? Whatever they do is their business. Anyways, while we see that Waves did smoke a little bit of the marijuana, it still gained effect even if it takes a little bit. It went in his lungs either way. Now, Tom is persuading Lava to try to hit Wave in the head to gain his memory back. Lava said no, because that's cruelty. Even the other person was okay with what Tom said. When Lava tried to help Wave up, Tom came with a boat paddle trying to knock Wave into his head. When Wave saw that, instantly he remembered about Victor. It turns out Victor was the reason why Wave got his memory loss. Because if you remember that time when Wave and Victor was in the boat watching the fireworks, that was when Victor used the opportunity to knock the Wave into the water. So yeah, the Victor is not a good person and he betrayed Wave. You know, I watched Teacher Jonesy's reaction, and even he thought that Victor was a bad person. And you don't normally see Tito Jonesy immediately sense that he's a bad person on the first episode. So you know. So question is, why did Victor do it? You know, because of Victor, Wave will definitely lack trust. Anyway, Lava saw Wave because Wave ran away, and he tried to calm him down by initially introducing himself, because at this point Wave does not remember who he is. I'm not sure if Wave is back to Darwin or not, but he does remember something about what Victor did to him. Anyways, Lava is there to calm him. Even Tom came to apologize what he did, causing him to feel that way. So now he's calmed and he's still scared. I do feel it for him because he really wanted his memory. And you're telling me the first part of the memory that he got was betrayal? The very person that he cared and trusted was the one that betrayed him. Honestly, it's better off finding out now than later, but still, damn. You can tell Lava is grown closer to Wave, because Wave did say he's not one who likes to be touched, but he did ask him to comfort him. I'm not sure if Wave is gonna be trusting Lava that much, especially finding out what Victor did. Oh, I don't know, but we're gonna see it. Episode 2 is just whoa. So I remember Wave looked at Lava and asked Lava that when he saw him on the beach washed up, was he with anything else other than just himself and the clothes he had on? Lava said no. But looking back at it, he did. He had a watch. I'm not sure how important this watch is, neither does Lava, but Lava wanted to give it to him when he was unconscious at the hospital, when he was going in his pocket, but that didn't turn out great, so he ended up giving it to him now. So we're at Darwin's family because Darwin has been away for a while, and the sister has not been in contact with him since he left. So it's fair to tell the parents. They are scared because they don't know where Darwin is and they don't know what happened to Darwin. The sister blames herself because she let him leave and now they can't get contact with him. The father then says she's not supposed to blame herself because Darwin is one person who's very adventurous. Okay, shit got real. It got real. So we see Victor and his father. Now we get why. See, Victor is also heir to be prince. He also is royalty, but he can't get that if Darwin is in the way. So he convinced Darwin to go with him to Thailand so he can get rid of him. Now he's in front of their parents. Victor is telling his parents that, well, telling Darwin's parents that Darwin decided to leave and escape and say he doesn't want to be royalty anymore. The thing is, Darwin's parents don't have royal status like that because the son is not royalty. The son is not crowned prince, so they don't get to say anything. Since Darwin is not there, they have Victor. So the father of Victor wants his son to be crown prince so he can be ruler. Damn, the whole thing is just crazy. Also, I don't think it's hard to figure out what Victor did, right? Because we know the sister know that Victor and Darwin went to escape to Thailand. And seeing that Victor alone is here and not Darwin, we can already assume, no, not assume, calculate. First of all, Darwin, I didn't know you were gonna be in this whole situation. I knew you were gonna be in the drama, but the situation part, I did not know. Now, GMM TV, hear me out here. I get that Gawain is supposed to be in a new drama called the season 2 of Only Friends. I get that. But seeing him in the royal suit makes me want to see a Thai version of Red, White, and Royal Blue. Hear me out now. He could be a prince, and maybe Josh could be the bodyguard, or you can be vice versa. You can be royal, and Josh can be royal. Red, white, and royal blue, because the man looks good in such royal outfit. I'm saying, GMMTV, give the people what they want. They said red, white, and royal blue suits Josh and Gawain. Look at that eyebrow. Ooh. Now, my question is, are you good or bad, sir? Because if you're bad, bye, boy. But if you're good, hello. Because honestly, I want to know if you're working for Darwin's parents undercover for something. Because, I don't know, I'm waiting for episode 3. So, bye.